hey guys, guess what? I'm at Popeyes and I still do not eat chicken, but I had just stopped in the building for a second. And while here, I met Leslie. She had on a uniform and I said, well, what do you do for a living? And she started to tell me about how she works with individuals with intellectual disabilities. And one of the things I've been trying to find out is really and truly, what are some of the opportunities, what are some of the challenges for these individuals, and how do we make their life easier so that, of course, they can help individuals with learning disabilities that much more. I'm going to let you guys hear from Leslie. Thanks.
Hi, well, I'm Leslie, and I do eat chicken, so that's why I'm in Popeyes.
Do you want to hold it?
Oh, sorry. Okay, all right. So, yes, I'm in here getting some lunch, and I met Kelly. She asked me what I do. I'm a registered nurse. I work on what's called an assertive community treatment team. Normally, I work with adults with severe and persistent mental illness. However, I have worked with children in the past with either mental health disorders and or intellectual disabilities. One of the things that we spoke about was opportunities for children with particularly autism, to be active in the community, and how difficult it can be because their opportunities need to be so specialized. If you're familiar with autism, you know that different children respond differently in different environments, to different people, to different activities. So it would need to be extremely specialized if it was going to be an activity that's in a group setting, or you would need quite a bit of staff to be able to assist children individually in the community. Let's see, another thing that she wanted me to mention was some of the things that are very satisfying about my job. And one thing I do love is seeing growth. What I do, I work in the community and I assist people to stay in the community independently. So I've seen people going from not being compliant with their medications. One person wasn't even able to walk, and it was just because he wasn't able to navigate the healthcare system to get the help that he needed to, successfully doing all of that. So that's very satisfying. The other part is that the part that's not so great is that I'm always pressed for time. So with that, I'm gonna have to close, and I hope that this turns out very well, and it was wonderful meeting you, Kelly.
Now, guys, do you see why Leslie is one of my heroes? But Leslie, I just want to ask you really quickly. Wait, let me see if I can do it this way.
Okay.
I am not good with the camera. And no makeup today, so you know
Me
it is
either.
a rough day. So, Leslie, let me ask you this. With the individuals that you work with, how many persons do you say you would have at a time? And what is the caseload like? Because I've heard from people, I actually spoke with a group of social workers, and they were telling me that they were actually having to drop people because their caseload was so heavy and they weren't seeing the progress that was required to keep them on their caseload.
Well, I think that's a really great point to bring up, because currently the agency that I work with is larger than one that I recently moved from. So I have about 50 to 55 people that I work with directly. There's right around 100 people on the team itself. So I may see all of them, but the ones that I'm responsible for is about 50. I usually see about 5 to 6 people today, and they're spread out everywhere from Greensboro, Liberty, Burlington, somewhere in Caswell County. I never even know where I'm at when I go up there. And I do see a difference with between that and the team that I worked on before, where I was responsible for roughly 25, 30 people. I was able to see them more often. I was able to really get to know everything about them, so that it was like a family member. It was like taking a family member to the doctor or shopping or whatever it was that we needed to do. So I definitely see the difference with the larger caseloads, and I think it's more effective if you're able to specialize a little bit more and have a smaller caseload.
One last thing. How many times a week do you need to see them? Or do you typically see your
Well,
clients?
for nursing, it's the service definition for the program that I work for just says once a month. However, that is not going to be effective to really assist. So I try to see everyone at least once a week, but that's just me. On the team that I work with, there's therapists, there's social workers, there's the doctor, there is a vocational person, and a substance abuse person. So we're all seeing them. So they get seen about 3 to 4 times a week. But as far as how many times I see them, maybe once a week if necessary, but most often once every other week.
Okay, last thing I'm going to say is the studies that I've read, it says that basically these individuals with intellectual disabilities, and I guess us as well, need to be engaged in an activity at a minimum of once a week in order to retain what's been learned. And so what they were saying is a lot of times kids with autism, intellectual disabilities, are seen less frequently, and they lose the benefits that they've gained shortly after the program ends. So
I 100% agree with that. And that, like you said, that's for everybody. What they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And for our kids with autism, or anyone with any type of intellectual challenge or any type of mental health issue, that's even more important. Repetition is the key. There are some diagnoses that there's no medication for. The only treatment for it is what we call behavioral therapy, and that's just me teaching you, us learning what you need to do, and me coming to say, hey, let's do it again until you got it. So
muscle memory.
Exactly.
Leslie, you're beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thank you
everything.
so much. This is wonderful.
All right, take care.